What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with Vitor Porto. 7 weeks out of this year's Mr. Olympia and the man is gonna be competing in the 212 class. So there hasn't been a lot of interest in the 212 class apart from Keon Pearson, Sean Carida, Nihit Kaya and Middleman. As most of the fans out there, they are only concerned with the top 3 in this division. But for those of you guys who do not know, this guy actually made top 5 last year at the Olympia. And the reason I'm starting with him is this back update. Easily one of the craziest back shots that you guys will see today. No other words to describe that conditioning than simply insanity. And the fact that this guy has still 7 more weeks to go to fine-tune things, to bring out even more detail. Just imagine how he will look come Olympia this year. Now I do believe we are about to see a change in that 212 division in terms of the placings in that first call out. Because first of all, Angel Calderon is out of this year's Mr. Olympia. The former Olympia champion Sean Carida is also getting older. And we are witnessing crazy new talent emerging in this division. And Vitor Porto is definitely a guy to look forward to bring an improved and a much better package come Olympia this year. Another guy who is 5'2" or 5'3" at best, and absolutely loaded with those dense muscles all over, crazy amount of muscle quality and detail. And the man really deserved that 5th place finish last year at the Olympia, because the man had that awesome symmetry. Plus, all these top 212 guys, they always bring phenomenal conditioning. They are some of the most ripped guys in that entire Olympia weekend. So this guy right now must be weighing somewhere in the 170 pounds, and that too at max on the stage. So pound for pound, this guy is one of the most muscular man in the entire bodybuilding. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. So in the battle of this upcoming Italy Pro Show in the Men's Open, do not forget about this one guy who is also from UK, Mark Hector. Another amazing talent who truly fits the definition of mass with class. And the one thing that we have noticed with some of the previous showings of Mark Hector is that he has always been more muscular in the upper body compared to his legs. And that was actually the major feedback given to him by the judges back when he was actively competing in 2022. But this 2 weeks out physique update right here, that is the best balance we have ever seen on Mark Hector throughout his career. So this is what a truly dedicated off-season can do in just 1 year, when you also have great genetics. And it's pretty clear that he was able to hold on to a lot of that size during this prep too. The size that he showcased when he was around 7 weeks out doing that guest posing and looking pretty damn awesome. So his side shots are gonna be extremely impressive in that entire lineup against all of these guys because of that overall chest and the delts development. So this is another guy entering this year's Italy Pro Show with very high expectations of winning this show, and that is gonna be his first pro win and to secure his first ever Olympia qualification. So after 2022, he had a couple of shoulder surgeries. He came back last year and did just 1 show to test the waters, and he dove right back into another off-season. And this time, he's coming in so much improved. But that being said, he has to be tighter in the hamstrings and the glutes area to have a shot here at winning this show, because this is one hell of a deep lineup. So who would have thought that the Italy Pro Show, that is gonna turn out to be one of the most exciting shows of this entire year. So around 3 years back, Mark Hector got the best placings of his career. He lost by just 1 point to Patrick Johnson. And this looks to be a very improved physique compared to back in 2022. So it's gonna be a very interesting battle at this upcoming Italy Pro Show. Next up, we have an update from Andrew Jagd, who is getting totally overlooked for this year's Mr. Olympia, as 90% of the people, they have already made up their minds that the top 4, they are gonna be Hadi, Samson, Derek and the Mutant. with Andrew not anywhere in the discussion for the top 4. And some people think he won't even be top 5. So kind of naive if you think like that. Because the kind of genetics that Andrew Jagged has. I mean, he has more pronounced X frame than even Samson Dauda. He is more aesthetic than all the other guys. His width is so unmatched. And there are few shots, like the front double biceps, the front lat spread, the abs and thigh, in which Andrew is so unbeatable, even among the guys I just mentioned. And if he comes in, like he did for Texas Pro last year, with that same combination of size and conditioning, and possibly improved hamstrings, and more volume on his legs, he can be right up there, fighting for the top 4. So no progress pictures have been posted by Andrew Jagged for almost 6 weeks now. But we do know that the man is 100% logged in and is already in the US. And the man is training very hard and very heavy, 7 weeks out of his 4th consecutive Mr. Olympia. So Chris Aceto has a big challenge to peak Andrew Jagged 100% right. He cannot bring him in bone dry and absolutely ripped, because Andrew was in the best condition of his career at this year's Arnold, Ohio. But in chasing that conditioning, his quads from the front, they lost the volume and they looked a bit downsized, and that kind of backfired. And Andrew wasn't in any discussion to beat Samson Dauda, although there was an off version of Samson. So a happy medium of conditioning and the fullness, that is something that can work wonderfully for Andrew Jagged. And there is no better example than his own Texas Pro look. So what are your expectations from Andrew Jagged this year at the Olympia? So it looks like Tonio Burton is on the same path as Dexter Jackson was when he was up and coming. And throughout Dexter's career, he continued to prove one thing: the mass doesn't mean anything if you cannot bring the conditioning with that mass. And Tonio Burton feels exactly the same heading into this year's Mr. Olympia. Now, I'm not convinced that he can place top 5 at the Olympia this year, as he himself claims that. But after looking at this update and his physique at this year's Dubai Pro, and how he pushed a guy like William Bonac and also Behrouz Tabani, if there is anyone who can prove all of us wrong, it is Tonio Burton. Because he has the lines, he has the shape, he has the conditioning, and he has the back. And even though he weighs somewhere in the 220s, he just appears way bigger on the stage. And that is all that matters. But whom does he beat to crack top 5? He ain't touching Hadi, Derek, Nick and Samson. Can he beat Andrew Jagged or Martin Fitzwater? Not to mention Brandon Carey, possibly Behrouz Tabani too. I'm gonna say not if some of these guys, they show up at their 100%. So for a guy like Tonio Burton to place in that top 6, the stars have to align perfectly in his favor. Although he has closed that size gap between him and all these other guys big time. But it's a fact that he still lacks a lot of width and density in those side shots. But that being said, we have to love his confidence. And the man is repeatedly expressing that too. So if Tonio places top 6 or top 7, that would be one hell of an accomplishment. Because he has to beat guys like Brandon Carey, William Bonac, Regan Grimes, Rafael Brandao, Rubiel Mosquera and some others too. And they're all some awesome bodybuilders. So we never followed Calum von Moger because he was a great bodybuilder. And yes, I know he did eventually get his pro status. But that physique could not have done very well, especially in classic physique at the highest level. So a vast majority of the bodybuilding community, they followed him because of his YouTube content. One of the OGs of the fitness content creator. And it's kind of baffling to think how much size he has dropped in the last few months. Now he's definitely shredded, but at the same time kind of skinny compared to his prime days. Now truthfully, some of us are just glad that he's alive and well, because he went through the most difficult times of his life in the last few years. So this guy became very famous after seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Gold's Gym with those viral pictures coming out. And during that time, he was being portrayed as the next Arnold in making. So he won his pro card a few years back, but he never made his pro debut. So looking back at those times when he won Mr. Universe, he was really massive. So how many of you guys were following Calum's channel back in the day when he was all buff? So a lot of you guys must remember him doing that adventure of doing a racket bicep curl with Chris Bumstead when he tore his biceps. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.